What's up, people of YouTube? My name is General Prime and welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification icon for more videos. Now, one thing that should be known about me is that I am an introvert. Sometimes I am thankful that I am, because it gives me the ability to be introspective, to observe more, to listen, to understand, and not just to reply. I mean, there are so many perks it comes with. I don't necessarily see myself as smart, but I appreciate the feeling of having my opinions listened to in a room full of other opinions. When everyone sees you as the guy who doesn't talk much, they tend to keep quiet when you're called to share your views. And whenever I find myself in such situations, I'm inclined to make the best out of it as well as I can. I often talk about how I like to know one thing about everything and everything about one thing because I despise being caught off guard. I don't like failure even when it's meant to be a lesson. And that might sound like I am some sort of megalomaniac, but I promise that I am not. But other times, however, my introverted personality admittedly could be quite a disadvantage in the sense that sometimes I find myself being unable to do most things I want to do because I always feel like the entire world will be watching and judging me. Some other times, there are things I want to say but can't, even though they are perfectly drawn up in my head. I end up fidgeting and feeling awkward. To me, courage is a lesson I have been learning for as long as I can remember, and I hope to God that I am not the only one. Queuing YouTube. I started this channel to force myself to go out of my own way, to drive off my own comfort zone, if you will, to express myself in ways I can't do in real life or with people watching. And I don't mean to be too hard on myself, but I don't think I have done much of that. Every now and then, after I have sacrificed 100 goats to the Dark Overlord just to summon up enough courage to go back to watch my old videos, I often find myself cringing hard and biting my nails. Those videos are bad, and I can swear I had more courage back then than I do now. I started this channel with two ideas in mind: to make gaming videos and vlogs, but as time went on, I felt I was too awkward for the camera, too stiff and unnatural, and I didn't have a lot of views, but the few I had, I could imagine those eyes again, and so I stopped and resorted to just gaming videos. I tried live commentaries over game footages like the kind I am doing for this video, but I felt my voice sounded too unpleasant. But to be fair, I don't think anyone enjoys listening to their own voice, except for maybe very good singers, people with very deep voices, or those oozing with confidence, all of which I am unable to do. And so, added to the problem of not having the right gear, my live commentaries were shabby at best, and I suppose one could easily tell I was unsure of myself with the way I spoke. But it didn't matter to me at the time because I admired the people who did them. I often appreciated how effortless YouTubers like Bedman and Optimus made it look, and I wanted to do just as well as them. Since I couldn't just freestyle my opinions, I thought that making scripted content would be better. I like to think I am somewhat an average writer, and so I opted to writing scripts for my videos instead, which brings me to my main focus for this video. In the entire ocean of events, drama, news, scandals, opinions, rants, so on and so forth that are littered online, I find myself still not knowing what to say, not knowing what to talk about, not knowing what to write. Mostly because, frankly, there isn't a lot that I care about enough to want to talk about anyways. The plenary mantra of YouTube is to first of all be entertaining and then doing your best to balance out everything else. And that can range from how educational your videos are to how good they are done and edited. And creators like Fiumento, Pursuit of Wonder, and Clean Prince Gaming knock it out of the park. So, how do I do that? How do I make contents that even I would want to watch? Because it should be known that if you can't watch your own content, aside from all the cringiness we get from looking back at ourselves, doing things because our brains are wired in such a way that it freaks out when it sees someone who looks and sounds exactly like the person housing it in their skulls, doing exactly what the brain has programmed them to do, but now from a different perspective. Aside all of that, if you can go back to watch your own content and feel proud of yourself knowing you have created something worth paying attention to, then ultimately not a lot of people would pay attention to it either. So the best way I think to go about it is to be authentic. But authenticity has its downsides too. Sometimes being real can be boring, and nobody likes boring. In the world of entertainment, performers learn to take on roles of diverse characters, to put on masks and costumes and become anything else other than themselves. In fact, they are required to be successful. But here on YouTube, it's different. Creators here have to juggle between authenticity and creativity, for lack of a better term, and I suppose I have to figure that out. However, too much authenticity and I might come off as boring, bland, or narcissistic, and too much of a mask on, I might come off as a douche like the Paul brothers. Another way is consistency. The YouTube algorithm favors creators that make content consistently, and I must admit I feel a lot on that part, mostly because of the lack of time to really focus on YouTube, and partly because I lack the motivation too. I know that most of what I have said sound like excuses, and one might say, oh, you don't have to let all of that stop you from being you and doing what you want to do. But in this current world of ours, it's easier said than done, and I am going to have to do it regardless. I am not too keen on New Year's resolutions because I find them unnecessary, dishonest, and impractical. But this year, I have decided to give this YouTube thing the best shot I can, despite the fact that I might not have a lot of time for it because my life is as complicated as four-dimensional chess. I am going to do my best to keep my uploads consistent with topics that are considered trendy, and I'll need all the support I can get. Lastly, regardless of my introverted nature, I still like expressing myself, howbeit not all the time. I still love showing my creative sides through my art, music, and writing, and that's why the productivity guilt hits me hard when I haven't done that in a long time. So now I have to find my niche. One thing I figured out about life is, regardless of who you are or what you do, whether you're a creator of civilizations or destroyer of worlds, whether you are bold or timid, Hitler or the Dalai Lama, Trump or Biden, there will always be people who support you, who are gravitated towards you, because as social animals, we always want parent figures to look up to, authoritative figures to be influenced by, irrespective of what their philosophies or worldviews might be. I mean, we're in 2021 and there are people who still believe the earth is flat, people who support the QAnon movement, and others who believe with all their hearts that they are dogs. Furries, they call themselves. So no matter who you are on earth or what you do, you will always find people who believe in you if you create an avenue for yourself to be heard. And I am honestly thankful for my 200 plus subscribers on here. I can only hope that we'll grow with time. So that's it, guys. Like the video if you enjoyed it and want to see more. Also, don't forget to subscribe because it most definitely helps me out a bunch. And I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers.